All right. We've had some academics. Now we're going to move on to some health, wellness, and community building. And the panel that's up with us now are our Director of Integrative Wellbeing Services, Wendy Adam, Chaplain to the College, Valerie Fischer, and Associate Director of Inclusive Learning Environments, Ali Corey. And I think I'll walk it over to Wendy first and then get out of the way.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Wendy Adam from Integrative Wellbeing Services, and we go by IWS for shorthand here. I have been thinking a lot about what I could possibly say to you all in 5 minutes that would be helpful today. In this space, this mask, in the midst of a global pandemic and climate crises and ongoing injustices of all kinds and so much global suffering that very likely has touched every single family in this room in some way. And so at first I was a little mad at Rob White for only giving us 5 minutes. And then I thought better of it. And I thought, well, you know, as part of this Williams team, and it really is a Williams team, I can actually say a lot in 5 minutes about how absolutely thrilled we are that your families are joining the Williams family at this particular time. I can only imagine the journeys that you all have been on. Probably exhausting just to get here to today, but the longer journey, the incredible amount of sacrifice and courage and accomplishment that it took for you all to get your students here to today, from them and from all of you. And so as I sit here today, I feel like my 5-minute message to you all is just that we honor you, your families, your values, the things that you've instilled in your children to bring them to today, and the things that you've done to uniquely prepare your children to come into Williams at this particular time. Because they're here, you did it, you're here. So we honor the joys and the sorrow of now. This day, these impending goodbyes, they're probably on your minds, right? Counting the hours, the minutes, seconds, some of you. There's highs and lows that are surely going to follow this time for you and for your children as they stay here with us. And so we honor the fears, we honor the uncertainties, we honor the celebrations, we honor the exploration that is all going to be a part of this new college adventure. But most importantly, and this is my message too, is that we honor not doing any of that alone. So health and wellness services is just one part of a whole campus-wide set of departments that are made up of dedicated people. A lot of them you've probably already met in other panels and my colleagues here as well. We spend our whole day working, thinking, trying, communicating, just trying to support students here. That's all we do. Our part, the IWS part, is to offer mental health services and well-being services. And we see it here at Williams a little differently. We see it as a crucial part of the Williams education because we want to promote learning and growth in every way, physically, psychologically, socially, emotionally, spiritually. In short, we call it kind of growth in heart, mind, body, and spirit. And so IWS is really focused on that. You know, right now there is so much talk about college mental health, and there should be. Everything points to young people ages 18 to 24 being disproportionately impacted by the global events right now. But even if nothing like that was happening, this is such a pivotal transition time. It is that transition from childhood that you all have done beautifully, or they wouldn't be here, into an independent adulthood, and it's hard. It is hard. And so we welcome and we actually encourage, we strongly encourage all of our students, to try to make use of the many services that IWS offers. We offer traditional individual counseling services and groups. You've got this sheet, hopefully, most of you. It's like a little cheat sheet about it. We offer psychiatric services. We have 24-hour on-call services. We offer groups on a whole variety of different topics, from building mindfulness skills and connection to looking at issues around belonging, looking at various groups whose narratives have been extraordinarily difficult. Our students of color in this time, right? Our international students, our LGBTQIA students. We have special groups reaching out to offer support to all of them. We offer a variety of workshops on things like rest and sleep and gratitude and self-compassion. All of these research-backed ways that we know ultimately become pathways to well-being. We offer all these IWS services, and then we also offer Talkspace services, which are telehealth services that students can access. So at any given time, in any given moment, every enrolled student here can access multiple kinds of services to get support, multiple ways, multiple formats, and that is intentional because we don't want there to be a barrier to students. So, well over half of the students here already in the last couple of years, this has been ticking up, but well over half of the students access IWS services during their time at Williams. And I want that number to keep going up. We want to connect with students. People sometimes ask me, what do I worry about working in college mental health? And I'll tell you, my answer is very simple. It's the kids that we do not meet that worry me most. I worry about the kids that we don't meet, who are somehow trying to meet some standard that doesn't exist, that they have convinced themselves that somehow, in the midst of this huge transition at one of the most difficult times in global recent history, they got to do this alone. And I worry about the kids that we don't meet who have worked tirelessly for years to build the compelling college application. You've been on this ride with them, right? Academically, extracurriculars, volunteer work, those college essays, right? The college essays. You remember? It's not that long ago. College essays, right? Well, they come here and they're exhausted from all of that. It's been years in the making. They're exhausted, and they start to question the meaning of it all right at the exact same time that we say, you know what? We want you to start on this whole new journey with all these new challenges. And they start to question, and what they don't realize is that questioning is exactly what transitioning from being a child into adulthood requires. And I worry about the kids that we don't meet who think that somehow everyone else at Williams belongs, but that they're smarter than them, and they've been better prepared than them, and that they don't feel like an imposter like them. And what they don't realize, if they would just reach out to us, they would understand that we all feel like that sometimes, and that they do belong at Williams. I worry about the kids that we don't meet who feel an unimaginable pressure to not disappoint their families, to not disappoint all of you, that somehow if they asked for support, they would be disrespectful to all that you have done to get them here. And I deeply worry about the kids who we don't meet, who have convinced themselves that you would never want them to reach out for any kind of support outside of your families. And that even though your families have brought them here to join our Williams family, and we're in this together with you, they just believe that you won't support that. Those are the kids that I worry about. And so as my probably more than 5 minutes comes to an end, what I want to just plead with you is to help get rid of any invisible walls that keep us from meeting every student here. Because you know your child, you know your family, and you're just meeting us. So please, look at the IWS website, explore our materials, email, call, whatever, immerse yourselves, do whatever you need so that you can help build a bridge, so that your student doesn't have to be one of those students that we don't meet. They don't have to struggle in that way. They can benefit and grow from this, all of the services that we offer, so they can grow in heart, mind, body, and spirit, and we can support them all along the way. So it's nice to meet you. I hope we get to meet your kids. Welcome to Williams.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So my name is the Reverend Valerie Bailey Fischer, and I'm the chaplain to the college and Protestant chaplain. And I'm part of a team of chaplains who serves the 2,200 students, regardless of their faith or no faith at all. The students are our priority, but we are also here serving the whole Williams community, faculty and staff. And in many ways, we see ourselves as part of a network of student support offices, IWS and Davis Center, to be among those. And as chaplains, we've come from different religious backgrounds. We have a Jewish chaplain, a Muslim chaplain, and a Catholic chaplain. But all of us have training actually in some form of hospital chaplaincy or chaplaincy, which allows us to be on the ground where the people are at, in addition to our training from our various religious communities. One of the things we all have in common is we love college students and we love college communities. And in many ways, we see ourselves as partnering with everyone to serve your students. I feel our office is the lucky ones because we get to go where the students are at. We meet them in the coffee shops, in the dining halls, wherever we're invited. We're very careful that we're not necessarily imposing anything on anyone. We just offer ourselves as a listening ear and a supportive ear, regardless of their beliefs. Students come here to Williams to explore, to discover. In Williams, as you can see it, if you get a chance to tour the Thompson Chapel, there's on the wall that one of the reasons why they have a chaplain's office is a recognition that we all have a spirit, a soul. And that is really important to the academic journey that your students are starting. In many ways, one of the most important questions is, what would you like to learn? What would you like to discover? These are the questions, in many ways, of the heart. And there's questions you have been listening to your children for the past couple of years, right? You know that they wouldn't be here if they weren't asking these kind of questions and this kind of exploring. We are here to support that kind of journey. So we do this in different ways. One, we have 11 religious and spiritual life groups that are run by students. They're student-led groups. This is really important because part of being here at Williams is helping them discover who they are as leaders and who they are as followers and who they are as explorers. So these groups are led by students and supported by chaplains. Another thing is we really encourage conversation across differences. The students, the religious and spiritual life group students are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. They are friends with each other. They go to each other's celebrations. One of the best experiences I had before COVID was celebrating Ramadan. And what the Muslim students do is have 4 days of breaking fast where they invite everyone. And the food is amazing. And this is a place not only for friendship and exploring, but people ask questions and learn more. Almost all of the major religious groups have these kinds of big celebrations, and they are attended by everyone. And there are smaller groups that meet as they are exploring their own faith, And then there are groups that are kind of off the wall and fun and just kind of asking the questions that many people are afraid to ask. So if you have any questions about the chaplain's office, we have a website, chaplain.williams.edu. And you'll find on the website lots more information about the chaplain's office. And I will be around in the Eco Cafe if you have any other questions. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Allie Corey. I am the Associate Director of the Davis Center. Thank you, Valerie and Wendy, for those lovely kind of introductions to those offices. And I have to say, I'm almost as new to Williams as all of you are. I started this summer. Most recently, I was a faculty member at Harvard, and I just started here in the role of Associate Director of the Davis Center for Inclusive Learning Environments. It's really wonderful to be in a room with people. I have not done this for a year and a half or so, and it still kind of like gives me a thrill. So it's lovely to be here. I'll give you a little introduction to what the Davis Center is and what we do. The Davis Center was formerly the Multicultural Center here, and we really have a motto that is lead, educate, support. And so we face students, we face faculty, we face staff, and our job is in terms of leadership, we try to lead the conversation on campus, the many conversations on campus about how power and identity kind of function in these spaces, and in particular, how to teach and learn across difference, because people are all coming from different environments, different regions of the country, of the world. People are affected differentially by the events that are going on right now, and one of our tasks is to try to ensure that everybody has equitable and strong access to learning and to working together to explore the world as we've been talking about. So that's one of the things that we do. And another thing that we do is we educate. We do a lot of workshops and trainings. We think about education really broadly, and so that will be both kind of formal workshops and trainings for different student groups or for different constituencies on campus. But also we like to think about educating ourselves, trying to learn as much as we can about the world around us so that we can best serve the community. And also thinking about those one-on-one relationships. A major part of what the Davis Center does is try to build strong relationships with folks across campus, and especially with students. And then support. One of the major things that we do also is support, focusing on supporting students in their learning, in their everyday lives. We do this through also supporting student groups. We have 22 different MINCO groups. MINCO groups are otherwise known the Minority Coalition groups. These are basically kind of student affinity groups from different, who have different reasons and ways of being together that do a lot of programming. They're places for community, for collective learning, for a little bit of respite sometimes from the world of Williams, kind of beyond the borders of those groups. And we hope to see many of the students that are coming from your families, coming and joining us for some events at the Davis Center and checking out the different MINCO groups. And so we also run, in terms of programming, just a couple of things that are happening. Like in the fall, we are going to be doing a social change film series, and we're trying to bring in films that people may not have seen and having talkbacks. Again, trying to think about how to build communities that bring everybody together to learn together and to make sure that we have a really wonderful learning environment for everybody that's open and inviting, where everyone can meaningfully participate. So I guess I'll stop there, but thank you all.
So questions?
I have a question. First of all, I want to thank you all. It's a beautiful presentation that you did, and it's very heartfelt. My question is, are you doing these presentations to our students? Are they getting the same message that you gave to us? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the question was, are the students all getting the same presentation? And I'm just repeating it here to make sure that everybody can hear, and I'll pass it to across.
So we have a number of different ways to engage with students, but I wanted to just be very kind of technical in my response, in that not every student is going to hear that exact same presentation that I just gave, but lots and lots of students are going to interact with various members of our team throughout their initial onboarding process here, and they will get lots of information, way more information and encouragement than that. So, yeah. Other questions?
Is there something that we did not cover, but you would like to more information about? Valerie.
I just would
Well,
like
thank
to
you so-
second that you guys, that was very touching, and it made me feel really good about the transition.
You know, I'm noticing some emotion in the room. And I guess as a mental health professional, I have to say, good. This is a big day, right? I feel emotional, and I don't know your kids yet, but just the thought of what you're doing. So just to say, there's a lot of information that's coming at you. There's a lot of new that's coming at you. There's a lot of people. But the reality is, this is a big moment for you and your families. And so if you're feeling a lot, and if things are swirling around in your mind, this is not your only chance to ask a question of any of us. We're going to continue to be available to you. So just know that we respect that, and it's okay, and it's good. There are other things that we can help with, clarify, either about our offices or other people's that we can guess about. I was smiling there. It was a little bit of a joke. I mean, it's hard to tell in the mask. I just yeah.
So I've been a chaplain for, at Williams, this is my 4th year, but I was a chaplain in my early 20s, and I'm still in touch with some of my students, and it is very possible you are the age of some of my early students. And meeting the parents was always one of my favorite things to do, because many of you have been waiting for this since the child was born. You look at the child and say, wow, where will they go to college? Some of you thought that, right? And what is really kind of weird being so old is now I'm going into a 2nd generation of this. And now my students are the parents who are having the same, excitement, but at the same time, just wondering what's going to happen. And, parenting does not end here. It just becomes something radically different. And in many ways, I think this is the stage when they become to appreciate you. But it's hard because it's a letting go time. But, so we're here to support you in that as well. Like, if you have questions and you need to contact us, please do. And all parents have contacted all of our offices. So if you do need to reach out, and even if it's just to say, I just have to say something to someone to acknowledge, it's okay. We welcome those kinds of calls.
Okay, and I'll just say also, I understand how awkward it can be sometimes to ask questions in front of a whole group of folks you may not know, especially in this kind of emotional moment. And people may have other things going on that aren't here, that are on your minds. And that's something also that we have to keep in mind. I've been really concerned today, for instance, about my friends in New Orleans and the Gulf Coast. That's been picking up for me. And I'll just say that I will be, as well as I think at least one of you will be in the Eco Cafe at 3:00. If you want to have a more direct one-on-one conversation or something, please do feel free to reach out, because building those relationships is really important, and it's really the kind of grounding of the community that we have.
One other request of all of you is, if you need something else to do, is that if you get a phone call from your child at some point this semester, next semester, a couple of years from now, and they say something like, there's nothing available, there's no services available, no one's here, I'm going to have to wait too long, that kind of thing, challenge that, right? There may be some glitch in some system, there may be some miscommunication that has happened, there may be some rumor going around campus amongst students that is inaccurate. And what I can tell you is if you get that message, that would not be okay with anyone up here or any of the other people in the departments. We will make something happen for your student, okay? So if you get that phone call, you're gonna get phone calls. We expect them to have some distress, right? We expect them to do that. This is hard, it's supposed to be. But if you hear there's nothing available for me at Williams, something has broken down. And if you need to make phone calls or they need to make phone calls, somebody needs to connect them with services, okay?
And we can reach out to you in the event that we feel like our child needs to be supported. We can just say, please make a connection with them.
This is a great question. So the question was, for those who might not have heard, we can reach out directly if we have some concerns about our students, so we can connect you directly with them. So the response to that is a little bit complex in that you absolutely can reach out to us and express your concern. We keep confidential what the students talk to us about. So we won't say, oh yeah, we're working with him or her or whatever, okay? And we also don't just randomly reach out to students from our office, from Integrative Wellbeing Services, because students who come to us, it's voluntary. If you have an urgent concern, you can contact campus safety and or the dean's office, and they can initiate what is called a well-being check, right? So if you have that kind of urgent concern, they can go out and check on them. That's different than us reaching out, and I just wanted to be clear about that. But the dean's office and campus safety are close partners of ours every step of the way. So if they're concerned, then they can bring your child to us to do an assessment and that sort of thing, so it closes the loop. We want to continue to be a safe place for students to feel like they can reach out confidentially to us and get that support. So that's why we don't do that initial reach out if you call us, but the dean's office can, and so can campus safety. Does that make sense? Okay.
Oh, but to add to that is, the chaplain's office is also a confidential resource, and we work with the dean's office as well. And often students will come to us for any reason, but if we view ourselves as first responders. The chaplains are trained not as therapists, but trained to identify if there's a greater concern, and then we work with IWS to help the student get the mental health needs. And also there's a network of student support offices that the dean's office works with, so that the first connecting with the dean's office and the campus safety and security it's a very good first step. However, if you want to contact our offices just to, for yourself, that's fine too. We may not communicate that to your child, but you are feel free to reach out to us as well.
And along those lines, if you're feeling distressed about something with your student, I don't care if you call IT or facilities or my office or Val's office, anybody's office. Everyone here at Williams will hear that distress and make sure you're connected with the person that you need to be connected with. So in those moments, sometimes it's hard to keep straight. Wait, who did they say to call and all that? It's fine. Reach out to anybody's number you can call and we'll help you figure it out, okay? Anything else that's come up for folks? Okay, I think we're good here. There aren't any other questions. Rob, are we? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask about their protection. Like if somebody, this question's kind of hard to ask, but if somebody tries to find out if somebody's attending Williams or somebody from the outside tries to get information about your child, is that guarded?
Okay, so this is a great question with Dave Boyer coming in, our Director of Campus Safety. He will address all of those questions. Certainly, anybody contacting our office is not going to get any information about a student, but I think that I'd like Dave to respond to kind of the more global safety issues that you brought up with that question. It's a really good question.
Wendy, Valerie, and Allie, thank you so much.